Hold on tight, XRP fam, because today might be the most important day this market has seen in a long time. The countdown is over, the world is watching, and in just a few hours, the Federal Reserve walks into a room and changes everything for the months ahead. According to CME Group data, the odds sit at an almost unbelievable 99.6% that the Federal Open Market Committee holds rates steady. This is also the very first meeting under brand new Fed Chairman Kevin Warsh, and that alone makes this moment historic. You might wonder why a man in a suit talking about interest rates matters to your bags. Stick with me because the answer changes everything you think you know about where this market heads next. Let's start with the number that actually matters to XRP holders right now. Ripple just dropped a bombshell, announcing a strategic investment into Flutterwave, a major African fintech company. The deal values that company at $3,300,000,000, and that is not a small move. That is Ripple planting a flag deep inside one of the fastest growing payment corridors on the entire planet. Cross-border payments across Africa have always been slow, expensive, and painfully frustrating. Ripple just bought itself a front-row seat to help fix that broken system. If you have been riding with XRP for a while, you already know this is exactly the kind of real-world adoption story the bulls have been begging for. But wait, before you get too comfortable, let's talk about what is actually happening to the price right now. It is not all sunshine and good vibes today. XRP took a brutal gut punch, sliding from 127 down toward 119 before clawing back to settle near 121. That kind of swing can shake even the calmest hands. If your stomach dropped watching those candles, trust me, you were not alone. Meanwhile, over in the world of rockets and billionaires, SpaceX shares are absolutely on fire. Shares launched from an IPO price near $135 and now trade north of $200. That move has pushed Elon Musk's personal net worth past the entire market value of Bitcoin. It is a strange world when a man building rockets outweighs the original digital asset itself, but here we are. Now here's where things get interesting, because the timing of everything this week feels far from random. Just days before this Federal Reserve meeting, news broke of a deal easing tensions tied to Iran. Call it coincidence if you want, but markets rarely believe in coincidences. A calmer geopolitical picture often gives central banks more room to breathe instead of staying locked into tightening mode. That kind of breathing room is exactly what this market has quietly been praying for. Stop right there for a second, because I know what some of you are already thinking. You are thinking the market is dumping, the Fed is pausing again, and nothing good ever happens for XRP. I understand that feeling completely. Fear is loud, and it always shouts the loudest right when hope starts whispering back. But zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture forming right in front of you. Ripple is expanding into Africa. RLUSD just went live on Gate.io, and partnerships keep stacking on top of partnerships. Regulatory clarity keeps inching closer thanks to growing momentum behind the Clarity Act in Congress. None of that happens if the people steering this industry believe the story was already over. Let's talk about the bear case, honestly, because I am not here to only tell you comfortable things. If the Federal Reserve signals a longer pause than expected, or Chairman Warsh sounds hawkish during his very first press conference, short-term price action could stay choppy. Nervous traders could keep selling into every small bounce we get this week. That risk is real, plain and simple, and pretending otherwise would not serve you well. But wait, here is the reframe. Because every one of those short-term fears is secretly a long-game setup in disguise. A cautious Federal Reserve early on often gives way to easing once inflation data cools down. History shows markets tend to front-run that shift months before it officially gets announced. Add in Ripple quietly expanding its real-world payment footprint while everyone stares nervously at red candles, and the bigger picture starts taking real shape. Sometimes the calm before the storm looks a lot like fear, but underneath it, a stronger foundation is quietly being poured. So here is exactly what I am personally watching over the next few days, and you should be watching the same three signals too. First, watch how Chairman Warsh handles his very first press conference, because his tone alone can move markets more than the rate decision itself. Second, keep an eye on RLUSD adoption now that it trades on Gate.io, since stablecoin growth has historically walked hand in hand with XRP ledger activity. Third, track any fresh movement around the Clarity Act, because regulatory certainty has been the missing puzzle piece this market has waited years for. I know it feels easy to get swept up in every red candle and start doubting everything. That reaction is simply human nature. We are wired to feel loss louder than we feel gains. But if you have followed this space long enough, you already know something important. The loudest panic often shows up right before the quietest accumulation begins. Smart money rarely announces itself with fireworks. It usually just shows up while everyone else looks the other way. Let me be completely clear about something important here. None of this is financial advice. This is simply my own personal read on the current situation. Always do your own research before making decisions with your hard-earned money. This space moves incredibly fast, headlines shift by the hour, and what looks certain today can look totally different by tomorrow morning. Still, if you ask me honestly, I believe the pieces on the board tell a story bigger than one single red candle. Ripple is not slowing down, and the African expansion proves they are playing a long game most people are not even watching closely. When the regulatory fog finally lifts, and it genuinely feels closer than ever before, the projects that quietly built through this period will be the ones people wish they had paid more attention to. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, but also don't let short-term fear talk you out of watching the bigger story unfolding right now. The writing has been on the wall for a while, and the ball is firmly sitting in the Federal Reserve's court heading into tomorrow's decision. If this breakdown helped you cut through the noise today, do me a solid favor and smash that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to see it. Drop a comment down below and tell me exactly how you are feeling about this market today. I read every single one of them and love seeing this community talk things through together. Make sure you are subscribed with notifications turned on, because tomorrow's Federal Reserve decision could shift everything we just discussed in a single afternoon, and you do not want to miss that breakdown the moment it drops. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. This community genuinely means more to me than words can say. Stay patient, stay informed, and stay bullish, and I will catch you in the very next video.